So I don't typically do review videos because there are a lot of other great YouTubers who do these and it seems kind of saturated, but I wanted to do a comparison of the new Sideswipe versus the old Sideswipe. This is kind of a retrospective comparison, I guess, of how far we've come in the realm of toy design, specifically in the Transformers genre. It's just amazing to think that these are the same figure 35 years apart, and you can see the resemblance, but the improvements are just insane. This comparison only covers the Siege version of Sideswipe and the original G1. I've excluded third-party figures and Masterpiece figures, as I wanted to just do a review on the basic off-the-shelf at the toy store figure without going into the high-budget, high-dollar Masterpiece lines or third-party stuff. So jumping right in, you'll notice the first thing is that the resemblance between these two is uncanny. It's clearly the same character. The original Sideswipe is a Lamborghini Countach from the 80s, and the modern version is the Cybertronian version of a Lamborghini, probably to get around the licensing issues and all of that, but still looks pretty good. I'm a big fan of the Countach. I think it's one of the best looking cars ever designed. And the Cybertronian version is a great representation of that. It has a lot of nods to the Countach look. Siege figures also comes with a matte black, or a matte burgundy, kind of darker red finish that looks pretty good. The original is a high gloss plastic, but this matte finish looks really, really great. It also offers tinted windows instead of the full transparent windows that came with the G1 figure. The transformation process on the Siege figure is so much more complicated than the original G1. However, the G1 wasn't exactly easy either at the time when you think about it. It's just amazing how far and how much more complicated these things have gotten since the early days of Transformers in the mid-80s to now. It's just pretty incredible to think that the same age group of people can still transform these, even though they're way more complicated than they used to be, and you can get the same amount of enjoyment out of it. Moving on to build quality. The build quality is just as good as it was in the original 1984. However, I did appreciate in the G1 figure that the wheels came with rubber tires and the chrome was a true chrome and not just a painted look, but I think the new version is fine. You gotta cut costs where you can, and manufacturing rubber tires I'm sure would be a pain in the butt, especially for this entire line, because all of the wheel sizes on each car is different. It's one of the things I appreciate about the G1 figures is that they came with rubber tires. The G1 figure also has a ton of die cast on the back of the car. It is a brick of metal, which is pretty cool. The new figure has no die cast to be found, but that's to be expected with modern toys. It's just cheaper to make them out of plastic, but no fault there. It still is pretty impressive. The scale on the two figures is surprisingly close. The Siege figure stands a little bit taller, but that's to be expected. When they're in car mode, they're actually almost about the same size, the G1 figure being just a hair smaller. The big difference between these is the poseability. The poseability on the G1 figure was rather restricted given the way it was designed and the brick-like nature of it. However, the poseability on the new Siege Sideswipe is insane. He can do so many poses, he can stand in so many different ways, he can balance, he's very well weighted so that he can stand like at a wider stance or whatever. Also the feet articulate, the legs articulate, the arms articulate. There are so many points of articulation on this thing. It's just kind of crazy to think about. This is the kind of movement you would see on a Masterpiece figure, not just something you would find on the shelf at a toy store. Anyways, to keep this video short, I'm going to wrap it up. I just wanted to make a video showing these two side by side to look at the past, or to remember the past, to see how far we've come and appreciate toy design and the G1 aesthetic that is hopefully on the return for Transformers. I really am excited about what they're doing, especially with the new movie and all of that. So anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.